So it would be nice to be able to sum this game up with something catchy. I'll have to think hard. How about two good teams went head to head and the slightly better team won? That's not catchy. I know how I'd sum up the game a few minutes from its end. Run CMC is a beast and the new Marshall Falk. I know me, a Rams fan, calling some other teams running back the new Falk. I feel bad for McCaffrey, or as I referred to him all game, number 22. A few times during this game I thought we finally have him contained just for him to burst out with something insane. The big headlines were Gurley's knee and Newton's arm. Gurley looked okay, less explosive than last year for certain. Newton is best described as hit or miss, but he's always been like that. Fittingly, the game started with number 22 ripping off a couple runs, followed that up with a catch off a deflected pass, and it was clear who was going to be the difference maker. Unfortunately for the Panthers, the Rams have a difference maker in Corey Littleton, who poked the ball out and recovered for the first of many turnovers. Forcing turnovers is nothing new for this Rams team. People critical of the defense last year frequently left out their ability to get the ball back in the offense's hands. Unfortunately, the offense didn't capitalize. The first drive was 8 straight dropbacks. Most will know, and some may not, teams have a script for the first drive or two where the plays are selected before the game with some allowance for situations, such as long yardage. This means that McVay almost certainly planned to come out slinging the ball. I feel like he does this a lot. He gets a little cute because he knows teams have to account for Gurley. Anyway, Goff made some short throws, missed some deep ones. Lack of preseason reps played a factor, I imagine, as the deeper connections came as the game went on. A 3-and-out by the Panthers saw the Rams with the ball again, just for them to punt, and I'd like to say at this point that Hecker is a monster. The punts he had in this game without a guy on top of him were huge. The special teams for this club are really overlooked. All three phases of the team have their strong points. 22 continued his reign of terror in the next drive, going out like a wide receiver on some plays, running between the tackles on others. I don't feel like there's anything he can't do. We got bailed out by Newton being absurdly sporadic with his pass accuracy. One pass is a perfectly placed dart in an impossible window. Then he overthrows a wide open receiver in the flat with a clean pocket. Feels bad to be a Panthers fan. Issues with Cam's helmet receiver led to a timeout used, then a delay of game. A clutch tackle by John Johnson set up the young Joey Slye to miss a long field goal. In the second quarter, a dart to Woods and a good run by Gurley put LA in range for third leg Greg's field goal. A failed jet sweep set the Rams back slightly. It was clear the Panthers were ready for it. Almost too ready for it. The Panthers started the next drive with a clear hold in the second turnover of the game. Sansom Ebukam? Ebukam? I've heard it both ways. I'm going to say Ebukam until further notice. Anyway, he not only tips the pass, but also recovers the fumble. Big plays out of this defense. Wade Phillips does a great job of getting their guys to create these situations. Brown punched the ball in from within 10 yards. 10-0 LA. Why was Gurley not in there in that situation? Who cares? We're scoring TDs, right? Number 22 came back huge. I can't stress how much of the team this guy has on his back. McCaffrey is a certified beast. I call him the new Falk more than once in this game. A good tackle by Fox and a sack by Fowler brought the drive to an end. A blunder by Natson on the return and Ebukam with a flag pinned the Rams deep. Space was created with runs to Gurley and passes to Woods. Goff had one of a couple completed passes while being hit on this drive. Love the toughness, love the guts. He got hit on the incomplete pass that ended the drive as well, but you can't expect the guy to make all of those. Have I mentioned that Hecker is a beast? Anyone want to take a bet on whether he gets randomly tested on Monday? His second punt was kicked from around the 15 and it landed near enough to the opposite 15. Incredible. Here was this game's emotional whiplash moment. Number 22 made yet another superstar play trying to hurdle two guys, which was followed up by OK Weddle laying on the ground. With concussions being what they are, it was so strange that I was hopeful when I saw him pouring blood, because I thought that he wasn't on the ground from being concussed. Later in the game, they placed him on concussion protocol, but if all he needs is stitches, I'll be a happy camper. It's probably not too telling that it was a shutout before we lost our defensive signal caller, but it's hard to say. Soon after Weddle was carted off, a punt was forced. A big run by Brown and a small pickup by Jared Vick put LA in a position to run out most of the half. Everett showed up with a juggling catch to take it to the 2-minute warning. Then we got to see some more of McVay being a little too cute. We're in a situation to kick a field goal after a few runs and take a nice 13-0 lead going into the half. Okay, I can see being aggressive with the ball in your hands, but to pass on all 3 downs after the 2-minute warning seems like a little too much. Newton's arm is back. Some of those wide receivers are speedy, and CMC is a monster. But okay, I see it. You give the ball back with a minute and a couple timeouts, and you take your own timeout after a first down sack that would have effectively ended the half. Aggressive is one thing, but this decision directly led to 3 points for the Panthers and getting some momentum back on their side. I don't know. I'm not a head coach. I might be a bit of a coward. Anyway, the score was 13-3 going into the half with LA getting the ball first. McVay, god damn it. Remember earlier when I said the Panthers were a little too keen on that jet sweep action? That was foreshadowing. That's a thing, okay? LA opened the third quarter running the same play twice in a row with that same jet sweep action. One went for a big gain and the other for a first down. Follow that up with a huge Todd Gurley run, and 3 plays into the half, the Rams are knocking on the door. Too bad the drive fizzled. But third leg Greg knocked his third field goal through, one for each of his legs. There was a Gurley fumble, but that didn't show in the stat sheet due to a penalty on the offense. The following Panthers drive was a continuation of the momentum they gained at the end of the half. A rare miscue from Hecker gave them the ball at the 40, and Newton deciding it was time to be a dart-throwing machine led to them getting the ball into the red zone, where 22 took a direct snap for the easiest 10-yard touchdown of his life. Newton gave the ball to a fan, which is a tradition I love. I don't care who hates you, Cam. You're alright. Except for your taste in clothes. My dude looked like Zorro getting off the bus today. Come on, man. Time to clap back, though. Time to steal some momentum. A nice run by Brown and a clutch catch by Higbee set up a first down where they got a defensive pass interference. Now we get a nice return to catch or no catch. This time in relation to a fumble. Now after the Saints game last year, I'm a little sensitive to bad calls. After all, how are the refs going to miss that face mask on Goff that would have led to a touchdown? We almost lost that game if Breeze hadn't choked in overtime. When I saw this in real time, I thought his knee was down. When I saw the replay, I thought his knee was down. I didn't think it was a catch, but I did think that his knee was down. So it turns out it's a catch, but they can't tell if his knee is down, so they called it incomplete. I was mildly annoyed. But to have Panthers fans get salty about a bad call when it clearly should have been a catch with no fumble kind of got under my skin. I might be a little sensitive here after the offseason. Anyway, Goff was hit or miss here. A free play could have been capitalized on, but it wasn't. A perfect pass to Woods was dropped. Goff got hit on one pass he completed. There were enough bright spots here to make me hopeful going forward. More rust than I would have liked, though, for one of the best paid athletes in the NFL. Malcolm Brown, on the other hand, was leaving me impressed. A first down run for 11 had 6 different Panthers get a hold on him before he started going down. Poor 97 is going to get roasted in the film room come Monday for just standing there as Brown took half the Panthers' D to the woodshed. It was appropriate for him to run it in for his second touchdown of the game. 2 good throws by Newton and some nice plays by Run CMC isn't enough to overcome some poor throws by Newton. Hopefully, for Carolina's sake, he becomes a little more consistent as the year goes. Who am I kidding? I just want them to sweep the Saints. Curtis Samuel had some nice catches in the game when Newton set him up well. Looks elusive. Apparently he used to be a running back. It shows. A good kick by Sly brings the game a little closer, 23-13. A poor series of events including a second Gurley fumble set up a punt, which was blocked. An incredibly rare thing to have happen against the LA special teams, but not the first time the Panthers got penetration against the punt team. Hecker's first punt was nearly blocked. 22 continued his domination with a grinding couple of runs to get a touchdown. The guy can do it all. The only place I've seen him fail is pass blocking. This would be a really good time to put together a drive. Maybe at least get a field goal. Whatever you do, don't throw an interception. No. I said don't throw an interception. Goof with his first turnover of the year and the Rams' first turnover of the game. It came right after an impressive pickup by Woods, and even worse, Kupp was open downfield. A quick drive by the Panthers ending in a punt, and LA has the ball again. Gurley hit a big run followed by a decent one. If not for Kuechly? Anyway, if not for Kuechly, he goes into the secondary with a full head of steam. On a critical third down, the Rams went with Gurley a 4th straight time where he broke a tackle and jogged to the sideline. I honestly thought he looked a little slow there. As a few carries he's gotten in this game, I question his stamina, but it's early in the year, so this stuff is to be expected, I think. As a footnote, the rookie Henderson got his first carry. No gain, maybe a loss. Now back to our regularly scheduled content. Touchdown to Higbee! Higbee! Big plays to get the momentum back in LA's favor. This drive was more or less the dagger. It took time off the clock and scored the game-winning points. Don't get me wrong, it's still technically a game, but this is the first time since the kickoff that I relaxed. That relaxation was vindicated with Corey Littleton, the most underrated defender in the game, don't at me, picked off Newton, a perfect read by the linebacker. There was a taunting penalty on the run back, but I never actually got to see it, so ref Illuminati. Goof tried to throw his second interception. Moving on. Greg Zierlein shanked a field goal. Moving on. Actually, no. Last time I saw him miss like that, he hurt himself during the attempt. I'm a little bit worried about him. Hopefully it's nothing. 22 put the team on his back and carried 10 men into the end zone to make it closer than it might have been. I'm really so impressed with this guy. He's the new age Marshall Faulk. I'm convinced of this. Without him, this game is a total blowout. A failed onside, and 2 runs later, the game was over. Rams win 30-27 in a game that looked a little closer than it was. All in all, I'm going to call this a solid game. LA competed well in all 3 phases of the game, and all 3 had miscues that can be cleared up. Goof seemed to get caught throwing to guys who weren't open, but I'm not terribly concerned yet. 2 balls effectively interceptable, and even the greats have worse days than that. Gurley looked slow and slightly winded to end the game. Still a threat, still has great vision. Two fumbles scare me, but Brown looks like he can play the CJ Anderson role from last year. The defense was solid, 3 turnovers, a couple more chances for interceptions as well. They couldn't fully contain Christian McCaffrey, but honestly, I'm not holding that against them. They made the plays. I feel like I'm forgetting to mention someone. Someone who won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. In all seriousness, it looked like he got penetration, but the entire game plan was based around not letting Donald get going. I'm okay with that sort of thing if it means we keep winning games. He can go all year without getting a tackle as far as I'm concerned if teams are devoting 2 and 3 guys to limiting his impact. This was probably the best possible week 1 game. Close, leaves LA hungry for more, gives them things to improve upon, but goes down in the win column. I'll be back next week after LA takes on the swamp-dwelling New Orleans Saints.